In this episode of Alphabet Movie Collection, I'm going to share with you some movies from my shelves that begin with the letter B. Hey, it's me, AP, aka Mr. Movie Cheer, and welcome back to another video. And now we are on to the letter B on Alphabet Movie Collection. As I said, each episode now I'm going to share 6 movies that are beginning with a certain letter in the alphabet. This letter now is on to letter B. I'll be honest with you, I think we're going to get certain letters where it's harder to pick movies. I'll be honest with you, this one was not too bad. This was not too bad, but I'm thinking what movies are going to be really hard. And I was thinking, like, C, is that going to be hard? And I was looking, C's going to be okay. C's okay. I think C is a lot better than B, but I'm thinking that I don't know what movie it's going to be like. Maybe it's going to be like a letter. I know, like I said, Z and X, Q. Obviously, Q is going to be a nightmare. I honestly, I think maybe like V. V is going to be maybe quite a hard one. I don't know. There's going to be ones where I'm going to be like, oh, what movies? we might have to skip certain letters. No, I'm going to do every letter. I tell you what, I'm determined to do every letter. So anyway, let's get to B. Let's get to these movies. 6 movies that begin with the letter B. Let's check them out. So the first movie I want to discuss is Batman Begins, the first movie in the Christopher Nolan trilogy. Kind of like one that's kind of like overshadowed by The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is brilliant, but the Batman Begins movie is probably my second favourite in that trilogy. Superb movie. I remember when they got announced this and they were like saying they're going to do like a darker tone to Batman. I didn't really get what they were trying to do with it originally. And then watching this for the first time, I was thinking, this is brilliant. This is what Batman needed. It's a great movie. Christopher Nolan did great in the director's chair. I hope they don't do any more Christopher Nolan Batman movies because I think it was it wasn't a perfect trilogy, but it was at least 2 solid movies and 1 okay movie in The Dark Knight Rises. But this is great. It's a really decent movie and a really solid movie, actually. And I love that the origins of the Batman in this, Christian Bale's version of Batman. I think he's great as Bruce Wayne, and as Batman, he's such a good performer. And yeah, I really like this movie. And it's got Hans Zimmer's soundtrack, his score on this, which is phenomenal as well. His score in the first movie is probably my favourite, really is. Great one. It begins with B, Batman Begins. The next movie, beginning with the letter B, is Blade, starring Wesley Snipes. This is obviously a Marvel character. We're going to be getting a reboot of this movie soon, or a remake. It will be a reboot of the Blade character within the MCU, but this was not connected to any of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this was, he is a daywalker. He's like half vampire, half human. He kills vampires, goes around with a big sword, and he's got like loads of guns, and he's just killing vampires. And it's just a great movie. I always remember that scene at the rave. I think it's at the beginning of the movie. Love that scene. That's a great scene. Just introducing you to the character of Blade. But Wesley Snipes is just like he's a great action star. I kind of put him up there. He's not like on the same level as like a Stallone or an Arnold, but he's just below him. He's a mega star, Wesley Snipes. He looks made for the role. He's just an action guy. He looks the part as this action guy, this badass guy. Blade, superb movie. I like the first 2 at least. The third one, I need to give another go because I never liked that when I watched it at first, but the first one is a solid movie. Check it out, Blade. The next movie I'm going to discuss is Beverly Hills Cop, the first Beverly Hills Cop movie, starring Eddie Murphy. I'm a big fan of Eddie Murphy. I like his comedy movies, but this is, it's kind of like comedy action. He plays a cop and he ends up going to Beverly Hills to try and investigate his friend's murder. And it's just a really fun movie, some really fun moments. I think the moment I like is when they go to I think it's in the bar. Is it a strip club they go to? And then they stop like a robbery or something. I like that part. And when he's putting like the food in the other guys' cars and stuff like that, and he's sending them food and stuff like that. Eddie Murphy's just he's great. I've like I said, a lot of movies. I don't think there's a bad Eddie Murphy. Well, there is a bad Eddie Murphy movie. The third one. I don't like the third one. I couldn't get into it. The first 2 are great. but the third one I couldn't get into. Maybe it was just they were trying to, I don't know, trying to relive. I think it was a few years after the original two. I didn't like the third movie, but the first one and the second one are great. But I'm talking about the first Beverly Hills Cop. Fantastic film. So, movies beginning with the letter B. How could this movie not be on here? Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Robert Zemeckis movie, Back to the Future. I absolutely love the trilogy. This is a flawless trilogy, a tremendous 10 out of 10 trilogy. Best trilogy of all time, in my opinion. Back to the Future, the first movie, just sets the tone for the rest of the movies. And obviously, the rest of the movies kind of like, you see them dropping back to the original movie and recall stuff from the first movie as well. So it's a really significant part of the trilogy as well. But I think it's a great movie. Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Doc and Marty, just a great combination. Marty, what are you doing? I don't know, Doc. Let's go back to the future. I love that. I love it. It's great. Best time travel movie of all time. Best 80s movie. Best trilogy. Best movies of all time. I think they really are just like, honestly, top 3 movies of all time for me. At least one of the Back to the Futures anyway. I think they're great. They begin with the letter B. If you've never watched Back to the Future, you are missing out. And tell you what, you're also in for a massive treat. Check out Back to the Future. So the next movie I'm going to discuss is Billy Elliot, a British movie of a young boy who starts to do ballet, and I think it's set in like the 70s, or I think it's the 70s or the 80s. This one, I think it's like the late 70s. Basically, maybe it is the 80s. It doesn't matter anyway. Julie Walters stars, Gary Lewis and Jamie Bell as well. And it's just a really well-made British movie. I remember this was a really big movie when it came out over here in the UK. And I really like this. I think it's a really good movie. It's got like a really good soundtrack in there. You got like T-Rex and stuff in there, a big significant part of the soundtrack. Really fun movie, and really it's a true story. It's a nice uplifting coming of age story of this young lad who kind of, this young lad doing ballet with a bunch of girls is kind of like thought of as this like girly thing to do back when this story was told. But obviously nowadays that is not a thing. But to look at it then, it was like, oh, my son's doing ballet. This is disgusting. He shouldn't be doing that. He should be doing football. And it's that story. You get these father is like a miner, works down the mines and stuff like that, and he's very like old school, and to hear his son's doing ballet, but then you see the relationship change, and then him kind of like understanding it's not that bad, and then he can do well, and he can get a good education and really make something of himself. And it's a really good story, and the ending is just such a good moment and really uplifting moment. Billy Elliot, great movie. Now, I started this video off with a Batman movie. I'm going to finish it with a Batman movie as well. Batman, the 1989 Batman movie starring Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson as a Joker, Michael Keaton as Batman, Bruce Wayne. Great movie. Tim Burton directed this. I love this movie. I think it's just one, over the years, I've enjoyed even more. So for me, growing up, it was like the ones I really watched more was like more of the Batman and Robin ones and Batman Forever. This wasn't as much. I did watch it, but not as much. But I've grown to enjoy this more and more over the years, and really I've enjoyed it more in adulthood a lot more. I think it's a great movie. I think Michael Keaton's great. I think it's a shame that kind of like that Batgirl movie got cancelled recently. He was going to return in that. I know he's meant to be returning The Flash as well, but I wanted to see even more of Keaton, and I hope we do get to see more Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne and Batman in the future. But Batman 1989 is a tremendous movie, and I think it's a great one to finish this letter B off on Alphabet Movie Collection. So I just want to do a quick roundup of these movies, and just want to talk about two in particular that I really enjoy. Back to the Future and the Batman. Batman 1989, two stand out to me in this pack of 6 movies. These are great. They begin with the letter B, and I think, if you have a night, if you want to watch have a movie night, beginning with the letter B, these two have got to be up there. Back to the Future and the Batman movie. I keep on saying the Batman. Batman 19... The new Batman movies destroy me, because each and every time I say Batman now, I say the Batman. Great movies, both of these. Well worth. Just if you want a fun movie night, these are the movies you should definitely put on. Well worth watching for, even if it's the 100th time you've watched them, definitely get them on. Watch these movies again. So that is it. The letter B is over and done with. Now we obviously move on to the next one, letter C, next time on Alphabet Movie Collection. But this has been fun. I think there's a good selection of movies beginning with the letter B. I've really enjoyed going through these, and I think I'm going to rewatch some of these as well after going through the collection and finding them. But yeah, another fun edition. I really enjoyed that. I just want to say a big thank you to you out there for supporting the channel, for supporting this community, supporting the podcast, to all of your Patreon support really does go a long way, and I do appreciate it. I just want to say big thumbs up to you. Thank you very much. Let me know your thoughts on the letter B movies from my collection, my picks today. What did you think? Did you think these were good picks? What would be your letter B movies from your collection? Which movies begin with the letter B do you enjoy the most? Let me know all your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gents. Remember to spread a bit of movie cheer, and as always, I will see you next time.